How's it going, everybody? Monday morning quarterback episode 190. Jack, what are we going to do when we get to 200? Birthday cake?
I think we can get a birthday cake.
Cake maybe like in T-Bone's face, all over his new mustache.
I like that. I like that idea a lot.
Yeah.
I think we can make that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And glorious slow-mo as well.
Hopefully T-Bone doesn't watch this. If you're watching, don't tell him about it because we got like 10-ish more weeks and we want to catch him by surprise. All right, tonight we're covering weekly maintenance. This question has come in a lot. It's probably like our most asked question, like what's weekly maintenance look like? Seems like a simple topic, but depending on, if you didn't grow up in this game or do it all the time or learn from one of our senior racing people that had a wealth of knowledge that they passed down. It can be one that's maybe a little daunting. What should I do every week? What shouldn't I do? A lot of us have a very small amount of time to work on our race cars every week. If you have full-time guys and they have like all week to work on their car, thumbs up to them. That used to be me. Now I have a job and I only get to work on our race cars after work. So I want to make sure I'm most efficient and I use that time to the best of my ability. So we're going to cover that in the video. But before we jump in, we had a question from last week's video, and it was, what do I do different setup wise on our micro sprints from a little bitty track, say a track like Port City or Miami County, a real small track, to a big quarter mile, Sweet Springs, Crete County, Columbus. What are the differences? So the biggest difference for me wing racing is I'll run a bump rubber in the left rear on those really big tracks just to keep the car from winging down so hard and losing the right front on entry, or getting down far enough to lose the right rear. So we will run a bump rubber all the time, wing-wise, on those big tracks. The other thing is typically we'll run a little bit more air pressure in the back on those big tracks because we have so much downforce pushing down. At least we'll start with a little more air pressure. Other than that, the baseline stays pretty similar. There are times that I'll run shorter wing posts in the front to get the top wing down a little bit lower on those big tracks, be a little more aero friendly. The wing doesn't need to be up in the air so high when you have that speed to get the same downforce level. So that's another thing. But for the most part, pretty similar. I like to keep my baselines consistent so the driver knows what he's going to have when he goes barreling off into turn one to start the night. So great question. Please keep those questions coming. Those help drive our conversations here, especially now that we're not live. But we are committed to being here every Monday at 9 p.m. So share it with your friends. Ring the bell for notifications. Be dialed into what we're doing here. We're trying to bring you guys as much advice and content as we can. So tonight's video is weekly maintenance. We filmed this at my at-home race shop. So hope you enjoy this video, and then we'll come back to close it out. How's it going, everybody? Hope you're having a good week. Back out in the shop again with another edition of Monday Morning Quarterback. This one is going to be weekly maintenance. And what does my weekly maintenance program look like? I've had some questions on that, and truthfully it's really pretty similar whether I was working on quarter midgets, micros, sprint cars. First thing I do is identify things that I need to have done every single week, maintenance items that need to be done every week to keep the car performing in tip-top shape, and then what needs done like every other week and what needs done maybe every 3 or 4 weeks, and I stay in that routine and I do those every single week. Obviously crashes and stuff can maybe slightly change the amount of time you have to work, but I try to stay on a pretty strict schedule. I have a checklist that I go through, and we actually have those checklists uploaded on Pit Logic. So if you're a Pit Logic user, you can download that weekly maintenance template, and there's one for quarter midgets and sprint cars and micros. And the nice thing about that is if you have 2 Pit Logic users, both working in the shop, you can individually check off things as you do it on your list, and the other person can see what's been done, who did it, whatever. It's good for accountability. If you're a race team, you can see who's doing what each week. You can assign things to people. If you don't have that, just having a good checklist. When I had 5 quarter midgets in here, I used to tape it to the car because I'd forget, like, oh gosh, did I change the oil on the Junior Honda or the Junior Animal? I would just check them off as I went. But as far as the micro goes, The things that I do every single week, obviously, good wash day after the race or night after the race. And while we're washing, we're paying really close attention. Washing is the best time to kind of get a good visual at everything because you're down in all the nooks and crannies and you're washing everything. I'm super careful on the micros to not wash up high because there's electronics, but washing everything down low and really looking at, did a jam nut come loose? Is a body panel broke? You know, is a Zeus getting ready to pull through a panel? I note those things that need extra attention on my weekly checklist. So a really good wash is how I would start. And then my weekly things on the micro are chain, getting that chain really good and clean, blown dried off so there's no rust, torsion bars out, greased, inspected, shocks washed off. I run mine on the dyno. If you don't have a dyno, at least giving them a good hand stroke, making sure that the spherical bearings aren't bound up anywhere and there's no dead spots in your shocks. The adjuster's fine. If you wash the car with the shocks on it, which I typically do, I make sure I blow it off really well. The next thing is greasing my kingpins and rear bird cages and bearing carriers, making sure all that stuff's greased. Air filter, replace the air filter every single week. I only do the engine oil and oil filter every other race. So if it's a 2-race weekend, that would get done after that. But we put 2 races on the oil and the filter. But the air filter gets changed every single week. And then a thorough bolt check, torquing the things that need to be torqued, but just checking all the bolts, good visual inspection on the wings to make sure none of the rivets have come loose or anything like that. And so again, it's just getting in a routine and doing the same thing every week. I'm kind of a creature of habit. I have a couple cars in here that I'm responsible for taking care of, and I kind of go about in the same order every week. So I have a routine, so it's easy if I forget to check something off to know where I left off because I do it in the same order every single week. And like most of you, I'm not in here full time, right? I gotta run CSI, so I'm in here after work, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, working on things after the kids go to bed, working on things, and so it's helpful to have a very detailed checklist and go through it that way. So thank you for the questions. Please keep them coming. Ring the bell for notifications and subscribe to our page. It's free. We appreciate it. All right, so weekly maintenance is nothing to overlook. Like with anything in life, business, racing, a detailed game plan that you follow will certainly help the cause there. Please share these videos with your friends. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers on our YouTube page, and you guys are the only ones that can help us do that. Any ideas for future Monday morning quarterbacks, comment down below. We greatly appreciate those, and hope you all have a great week.